Hey folks, so today we will talk about the self-sovereign identity as usually. So I observed that this year is quite successful for self-sovereign identity. For example, just a couple of days ago, the European Council, they just released the new architecture of the European wallet, so EUD. EUD is the SSI adopter, so they widely use the Web3 credentials together with the OpenID Connect specifications. So take a look for the OpenID for verifiable credentials and OpenID for the verifiable presentations. It will be the big topic actually for the all European Union public projects in future. So I'm happy to observe that our ecosystem is building, but today we will talk about two interesting challenges in a SSI that maybe it's not so visible for the beginners, but it's quite important from the point of view of the privacy preserving applications. So these two challenges, actually, it's an interesting case. The first challenge actually is the binding of the VCs to the holder, and you know that if a holder wants to share the VCs, he create the verifiable presentations, pack the VCs inside, and send it to the verifier, and verifier could verify actually the signature and the DID and take a decision that these VCs usually belongs to the person who sent the VP. What's wrong with this approach? You could obtain somehow in a magical way VC from me and present it as your own VC. And right now, if you take a look to the specification of the verifiable credentials, you have the holder field in a credential, but it's completely optional, first of all. And another challenge that you have no authorization rules of policies that enforce you in a spec that the holder section of the VC should correlate with the owner, and this creates a huge gap in the bindings between the holder of the VC and actually the VC itself. And so that's the big gap. Right now people try to close this gap with the extension of the VC model. We have couple of offers how to include the bindings directly to the VCs. It's ongoing process. Another thing that, for example, the Aries community have the anon creds, and anon creds solve this problem because it's fully ZKP VCs, and they offer something like the secret link. Is the zero knowledge proof, blind signatures that actually force a holder to prove every time when the holder issued the VP to the verifier that he owns actually the VCs. So it's quite interesting problem itself, and that's quite important, and you need to be aware that we have this gap, and we should solve this gap on the protocol layer if we build our own SSI applications. So another problem that I want to raise today and talk together with you about it is the correlation. So it's somehow the opposite thing, that if in a bindings we need somehow the connection of VC to the holder with the correlation, we have the problem that when you issue the VP, you disclose your DID for sure, because you want to make your signatures verifiable, and if you disclose your DIDs, we could reconstruct somehow or build the correlation of your activity together with the verifier, the issuer, and so on. So somehow your DID became the trackable identifier that allow us to build some interesting correlations that maybe we don't want to have. And one of the solutions for fight with the correlations that you have the different DIDs for different types of interactions, or if you want to be even more secured, you could create the new DID for every transaction with different people, but this create a lot of problems. It means that you need to maintain the huge amount of key pairs and the DIDs, so that's not solving this problem well. And the correlation is a quite big and open topic for the protocols itself. And again, for example, Aries community have this ZKP focused things with the links and all of the stuff that allow us just to ignore this problem because you don't have it there, but the verifiable credential community have this challenge, and we need to solve this challenge in the future. And it's the big obstacle for true privacy preserving applications. So, you know, we have the space for the creativity, we have the space for thinking together. I will be happy to hear more from you, what you are doing in a self-sovereign space, what you're doing in an identity space. Please take a look to the latest European Council initiatives. I believe that it will shape the market. I was happy to share my thoughts with you. Subscribe to our channels, subscribe to our public medias, and I'm keen to hear more from you. Choose.